Okay, maybe not the best game of all time, but the best Shinobi game of the entire franchise. I will say that with my whole chest. Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master. And, I am also acting with a bit of incomplete information because I have never played or owned the game Shinobi Legion for Sega Saturn. And that game, nowadays, is very expensive, as is most of a lot of the games for the Sega Saturn library. And what do I say about games that are expensive? They initially failed because the Sega Saturn failed in the United States because just poor ownership. Like, people did not, one, didn't believe in it, and two, like, that whole release date thing, I didn't know about in the 90s for real, because, like, I don't know, E3 wasn't, like, a thing that people paid attention to, or, like, Gaming Expo is one of the things that, like, normal people paid attention to back in the day. Like, yeah, I feel like even if you went to, like, kind of like game magazines back in the day, there's a point where they probably wouldn't cover that. It might be like a little blurb in the article or something. But like, the average gamer at that time was not like, oh my god, what games are coming out? And I feel like, especially in the 90s, there was a little bit of an advertising problem with video games in general, because like in TV, you gotta think about the time slot of the audience for the game, and I really only remember the commercials for like Final Fantasy VII, and I don't even really remember like Crash Bandicoot and Tomb Raider had like the craziest commercials. They were like always on. I don't really remember them, except like every Tomb Raider commercial was like a dude going like crazy over the very pixelated PS1 version of Laura. They were like literally going cartoon Awuga style on Laura in those video games. Those video game commercials. Like that was a big advertising campaign, and Lara Croft as a character became very mainstream. But I am not talking about Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master. So again, I don't know, for me specifically, having I still have like Revenge of Shinobi, and I've played other Shinobi games, including Shinobi for the 3DS, which I don't think I have that game anymore. But I've played through many a Shinobi. Maybe I'll do Shinobi for the PS2. Maybe I'll do Nightshade for the PS2. One of these days. But in terms of just level design, art, soundtrack, literally every part of this game is just so good to me. And this is like the game besides, I guess, like Sonic and Knuckles and Alter Beast that like I played the most of as a kid. I just genuinely, absolutely, positively think that this is the best Shinobi game, and possibly of all time. Like I said, the jury is out with maybe Sega could re-release it because it's their franchise, but that's neither here nor is it there because we don't know where it is. But yeah, just in terms of gameplay and visuals, like, it definitely takes advantage of the darker color palette that is on the Sega Genesis. Like, it's like, you know, you got the cloudiness in the background, like the different grays, you know, and the scrolling, the multi-layered scrolling, parallel scrolling. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not here to talk technically. I am here to just shower praise on Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master, because it is literally the best example of Shinobi out of the franchise. And I will say, with this first and second level, it's one of my sloppier playthroughs, getting hit right before the boss, so I gotta fight it normally and slow. Wasn't intentional, literally just playing it through normally. Was not trying to stretch out the video at all. I just wanted to play it like I had used to, which was you sit down, you play a few levels, then you stop. So for me, I played through the first 6 levels the most, and to this day I have beaten it a couple of times, but that final zone, woo, and still gets me. You know, every once in a while, and sometimes I lose my patience because of just the layout and the difficulty. It really puts your skills to the test, because especially once you get inside the floating blimp thing that you're on. Maybe it's not a blimp. I don't know what kind of carrier craft that Shinobi is on at the end of this game. But whatever it is, once you get inside and there's all these little mazes with electrical walls and floors, it kind of looks like the inside of the Death Egg Zone of Sonic and Knuckles. It's very similar in design. And I guess that's just Sega Genesis art style. But yeah, it is a doozy. Even level 6 traps, which I do not get to in this video. It's hard. This game is I don't know. It is perfectly paced, in my opinion. You're going around, you're doing your ninja thing, and the levels get progressively more difficult. And depending on the levels are exactly the same on all the difficulties. The thing is, I'm used to playing on normal. On hard, the point barrier for an extra life is I think it's 10,000 instead of 100,000 instead of 50,000 points. So all the extra lives are in the exact same place, and all of it doesn't change the layout at all. It just changes really the point barrier for an extra life. And ultimately that affects one of one where you explode basically, and you sacrifice one life. So when it gets to a part and you want to kind of preserve your ninjutsu, you can just basically sacrifice your life for one of those. But you also, like when you use your ninjutsu, you lose that no ninjutsu bonus. So it is up to you whether you want to play that way or not. Ninjutsu. And you know, ultimately, I'm not here to be like, this is the best game ever. People should play Shinobi forever. Shinobi is a very accessible game to play. I have I have Shinobi not just on the original Sega Genesis, but I have it on the PlayStation 2 and the Sega Genesis collection, the PS3, and Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, and on PS4 with whatever that Sega Genesis collection was called on the PS4. I'm not going to look at it, even though, yeah, I have no idea. But I think it's just called the Sega Genesis collection. But at the end of the day, if you have a game that you really like, you might end up getting it multiple times. And there's nothing wrong with it. I support it even. Like, you know, you never know if you're going to get another original copy of that game. So if it gets ported on a disc in a compilation, yeah, get that. Especially if it's your favorite game. There are so many games on the Sega Genesis collection that I just do not play. I literally just kind of play Sonic and Knuckles and Shinobi 3. Oh, and I do like to play Comic Zone, even though that's a game that I've never actually physically owned. But I was thinking about the collections, and Comic Zone is in every Sega Genesis collection that you can get. And that is a relatively fun game. And, you know, at the end of the day, you are going to have your opinions on what is the best Genesis game. I don't have the most broad experience with the Sega Genesis. The games that I'm playing right now for the Sega Genesis are the games that I have. I might, because I don't really have an actual long-term or endpoint for doing these. I might play through every game, and then you can see me suck spectacularly at EA Sports games for the Sega Genesis. Because those games, I don't know, I'm not good at Madden now. I wasn't good at Madden then. I used, sports games were definitely a family thing. Other family members came over, and, you know, you had a multiplayer game that you could play besides, Streets of Rage and Altered Beast. Because, you know, after a while, you might get tired of playing those specific games. You just want to play something else. You also want to play something that's cheaper. So, that's how it works. That's the science behind all of this. And I will say this. I have um, played Shinobi 3 so much that I pretty much play the exact same way every time that I play it. And I don't know when, but like a couple years ago, I did try streaming for Twitch, and I do have clips from me playing it on the playing Shinobi 3 on the PS4 and older clips. But once again, playing this on my Sega Genesis, and honestly, it is a weird experience because I'm used to just using the PS5 controller. So I'm not gonna lie that it was weird, like playing this on the Sega Genesis again, even though I do kind of play it somewhat semi-regularly on like the PS5. So just a weird thing about controllers. You know, everybody's gonna have their controller preferences. But if you have never played Shinobi, you know, maybe check it out. Like I said, you can play it on the Sega Genesis collection, and that's multi-platform, so I believe it's on the Switch and the Xbox, and then you can also do the Sonic's Ultimate Collection, which is on the Xbox 360 and PS3. And then the Sega Genesis Collection, which I only think is on the PS2. I don't know. I didn't look this up. I just was like, hey, I'm playing Shinobi today, and I'm gonna say that you should play Shinobi when you have the time to play Shinobi, because it is a fun game. It's an enjoyable experience, and you know, ninja games were cool. I didn't get into Tenchu. I really didn't. I don't know why. It's weird to think about things now because there are certain games that are so like big and synonymous with the genre, and I'm just like, I didn't play that. Like, you know, especially during the PlayStation era, you went over somebody's house and they had a copy of Crash Bandicoot. I never had a copy of Crash Bandicoot. Played it, never beat it, but you know, it's just weird to think about like that sometimes. And I miss the extra life jump on here. This wasn't the best playthrough that I have had with Shinobi 3. And this might not be the last time I talk about it, but it is the end of me talking about it today. So, thank you for listening, and I will catch you guys in the future.